This is part 2 of this week's Don't Revive Me Bro podcast.
So I guess we'll welcome Vic back. Vic, you're done your match?
Yeah, I'm here, guys.
Hey, buddy.
All right, map 1 ended pretty nicely for us. So we're on to map 2. We're lag testing right now.
Very cool. Hey, I wanted to ask you, basically, Black Ops is more of a 360 game. It's primarily made for 360, I guess you could say, and kind of ported to everything else. I know PC is just a mess. Do you find that destructible environments would hinder competitive play? Because I know Black Ops has such a rigid map and, a specific place.
Like a shoebox, basically. You're in a shoebox.
Yeah, you've got specific
destructible
places.
environment makes it less campy. You could actually
sure
take them
does.
out of a camping spot.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I played Black Ops for maybe an hour, and it just wasn't fun. It's pretty much a camp fest. I mean, you could sit behind a wall the whole game with your little sensor and just shoot people. And you could at least take out the wall and give your teammates a shot at them, pretty much.
That's definitely true in the public rooms. I mean, in game battles, of course, there's no equipment permitted. There's no claymores. There's no rockets. There's no noob tubes. No, that's basically a FAMAS and the other guys. And when you see the MLG players, how they move across the map, it's basically a game of chess where they're like blocking spawns, forcing spawns, controlling the map, and then protecting the choke points and the cutoffs. That's pretty much how the game's played. Battlefield's
I've also seen 1v1s on YouTube. That just doesn't look fun. I mean,
yeah, it depends on who's doing it, but yeah, it's pretty crazy. It's a very enclosed environment compared to Battlefield being a very open environment. Wouldn't you say, Vic?
Oh, definitely. Without a doubt.
I've showed up on Battlefield maps and been like, where am I? Like, every tree is gone, every building is gone. I'm like, what? Colin, you tonight, right? It's like, what? Where am I?
Oh,
I
I know.
Don't have that experience. I think it's great to have the destructibility. I would have to be remiss though if Vic, would you be able to tolerate things being slightly less destructible if we had the competition support that we need to expand and nurture the growing competition community in Battlefield?
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. I mean, as long as the competitive side gets bigger, anything goes pretty much. I mean, Battlefield has different type of players pretty much, is what I mean, competitively. And if you noticed in this map that we just played on Atacama, there's nowhere to camp. It's a straight battle, face-to-face, vehicle-to-vehicle. There's nowhere to run.
Do you guys?
A little less destructive would be pretty good.
For sure. Do you guys play, like when you play these different games, do you have to play on maps specifically without vehicles, or is it kind of anything goes as long as the two teams agree on it?
It's pretty much GB sets the maps, so we play whatever GB gives us.
Okay.
Map gen.
Except in this case, on this playoff game, it was supposed to be Rush, but this team doesn't play Rush, so we let them switch it to Conquest, because they wanted to play Conquest instead of Rush.
And because Vic is extremely confident that he can play any game.
No. I mean,
that's the key.
First
That's
round,
what we
we
look for.
play a round of hardcore, because they were a hardcore team. So
Nice.
we just want to be competitive.
You're so accommodating. Chris, he just brought a great point up, man. I mean, really, that's what we look for when we look for our teams, right? We're looking for teams that can play any. You may say, you show up, we'll show up. We don't care if it's hardcore, softcore, rush, conquest, squad rush. We don't care. Whatever, baby. We're there. It's like anything, any day, any time, any place. No worries. I think all three of these teams. They're clearly some of the most accomplished and lethal teams in the world in the game, and I think that they all are willing to play anyone on that person's terms at any time, and I think that's very indicative of their work ethic and their level of confidence. But they're not like overly, I would say overly confident. Well, maybe Vic is a little bit, but everybody else isn't.
Hey! I'm still here.
Yeah, I have to mention that Vic recently brought home the World Cup in Bad Company 2 for Team USA over Ireland, actually. And that was a big deal, so we applaud him for that.
Very cool.
Nice job.
Now they don't want to play us again. So. All right, guys, my second map is about to start, so I'll be back in a few minutes.
Sounds
Sure.
good.
Very best.
Well, that kind of leads me into something I wanted to ask you guys. Josh, when you're looking for people to add to Army of Beasts, is there certain stats or is there certain type of person that you're looking for or type of player that you're looking for?
No, the stats don't really matter. We have people with, kill deaths all over the map. That doesn't matter. As long as, it's a fun person, they like to play, they listen, or, if they even know what, they give us little hints ourselves. There's somebody that knows what they're doing, who wants to have fun, compete, and who can communicate, because we need somebody who can communicate well with each other and tell us things that, if there's a guy on the right, like in the second story or something, to tell us that. But, it doesn't matter about the stats at all. We take anybody with open arms.
Mm-hmm.
Stats doesn't matter.
I think that just to add to that, Chris, I mean, AOB is, I think, distinguished from everyone else in the fact that, and there's a YouTube video of this that's amazing. I mean, S&M, Show No Mercy, was like an all-star team the entire time. It's a team of like people that were all so ridiculously good at the game that they were just way too involved. Okay. And AOB is a incredibly dominant team, but in and of themselves, the individual players, like, you look at this all-star roster and you looked at AOB, and you would think, that S&M would put up a very good fight. And it was just, I mean, in the finals match, I mean, they just tri-capped and spawn trapped S&M. And by the way, in a game battles or in a competitive match, spawn trapping is always a legitimate tactic. Because if you allow yourself to get in that position, then, well, better to have it end quicker than longer, right? But I mean, yeah. So it's definitely, I think that the chemistry on these teams is really high, and I think that does make a big factor. And I think that even the casual players can relate to that, right, Colin? I mean, you play with the same people on an occasional basis, and you start to build relationships with those people, right? It's kind of the same thing.
Absolutely. Yep. Absolutely. So. I mean, when we're playing together, typically, as I've told you before, we're pub stomping, but we know what the other guys are going to do, and we have good chemistry. And, if you look at all of our stats individually, they're good, but not necessarily stellar. But when we play together, that doesn't matter, and, we just play to win. And we play the objective like crazy, and when you have that kind of chemistry, then yeah, it's definitely a great experience.
It does make a big difference. I mean, these guys, they go pub stomping and they clear the room. It's really funny, actually. They have to go soliciting people they don't even know on the other side to try to distribute themselves.
In pub rooms, you just gotta play for fun.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, and I mean, and what we'll usually do is, we can hit up Twitter or something like that and get a bunch of people into the game that are really solid players. So, we can make it competitive for ourselves if we want to, or if we just want to sit back and not even worry about making callouts and just have a couple of rum and cokes or tequilas and and just play. Then we'll do that too. But
I have one for Cartel actually. SOA on 360 is very vocal about their level of confidence. AOB is very vocal about the fact that they aren't incredibly strategic. They're just a really tight team. Rival has always been the mystery potion. Nobody knows how it works. It's very hush-hush. It's very quiet. Everybody in the world wants to know, what is it that makes Rival so successful?
I guess if most people that have played us would say that we're much more methodical. Like there are teams that live behind their guns and they can run and gun and they have such a high skill level that it doesn't really matter. They can kind of adjust to things how they flow, or they have heavy battlefield experience. So no matter what really happens in a game, they can adjust to it. For us, it's heavy preparation. Pretty much every detail. Like if they're going to do this, we're going to do that. Everything shifts and everything's already pre-planned. So a lot of times when we do play, we have lanes, positions, jobs. Everybody, the strat we've done, we've thought it out, and then we've drilled it until it becomes commonplace. So that crazy nade that guy got on you in that spot. That guy's practiced that nade 100 times, right? Like that wicked shot that guy had on you, he's been practicing that shot all week, So it's very different how we do things, like compared to other teams, because I've jumped in and played for other teams just as a ringer, and to me it just seems like chaos in there compared to how we run things. So I've actually started putting a few strats on the Quantic site, just ones that we don't use anymore and stuff like that, so people can see like the level of detail that we go into for each map.
Yeah, actually, I went to Sergeant Enigma because we were like, well, what about AOD? And he just, and you know how good he is, right, guys? I mean, he's amazing, right? And he just says to me, he goes, no. We're okay, we're good, but you need to be talking to these guys over here at Rival. They're at a whole other level, son. He's like, we don't even know how that works. He goes, I would kill just to see a match video from them.
we played AOD in the 66 Vietnam Conquest tournament, and they're good guys. I don't want to crack on them, but we call it spawn camped instead of spawn trapped. But yeah, we spawn camped them from both sides.
Yeah, I guess, if you've got a tight team that works together, that's, as, I can't remember, is it Jay, Colin? As Jay said, teamwork is overpowered?
Yeah, absolutely.
They nerf that a little bit.
Yeah.
Patch it.
Yeah, that's why DCRU drinks on a Friday night. That nerfs the teamwork a little bit, and we wind up having fun in public lobbies, so...
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that's kind of the I think that's a good segue. Colin, I don't know if you wanted to go into the media discussion and stuff like that.
Absolutely. So you've kind of been in and around the community a little bit as of late, and I don't think that most folks, sort of in the general population of the community, would fully understand what's going on there. They've heard the name Quantic and heard some associations, and just wanted to kind of give you the opportunity to talk a little bit about that. There's been some discussion around a new channel called Quantic Media, and that's going to be basically a repository for good stuff to highlight and showcase, as you put it, in a journalistic way, the competitive side of the game and of gaming, but also feature some high level content. So it's kind of your baby, the Quantic Media thing. So why don't you basically introduce the community to that and what Quantic Gaming's been doing in that arena around YouTube, and what's up?
Well, first of all, I mean, I'll say that I'm sure that many of you know the Russian Badger, and he actually has been a long time part of our family, and for the longest time, he was really the only YouTube person that we really had around. And, of course, as we've built up this pool of talent in QXG Core and among the Battlefield teams, there's so many PVRs and fraps and all that stuff out there, we've realized that we have hundreds and hundreds of hours of match footage that is either posted YouTube unlisted or never posted at all, or in a lot of cases never even reviewed, because we're recording the matches because we have to in the event of a dispute, we need to have that. Absolutely. For evidentiary purposes. So we have all this footage, and this is footage of amazing players working extremely well together. And we felt, wow, this is a story that could really help the Battlefield community cause. It could really help grow and expand that community from a competitive perspective, as well as demonstrate the skill and the deliberate nature of play that these amazing players employ. And so I think that that's always been something that we kind of wanted to do. We just didn't really know when we were going to do it. And I think that it was kind of like, we feel like we need to kind of mobilize a little early for Battlefield 3, because we wanted to be in the position. It's not all by accident that we have these teams and that we are becoming a media organization now. We're doing it because we want to be able to tell a compelling story of competitive Battlefield.
Yep.
In a way that moves people, that makes competitive Battlefield almost a spectator sport in a way. And this is not a new idea. I mean, this is, there's other communities and other games that have done very similar things to this.
Yep.
Extremely successfully. And I think that our goal is really to be able to show people who maybe competing. There's a whole demographic of people in their 20s and 30s who have jobs and families and lives, who probably would love to compete on game battles, for example, and on a casual participation level, and don't even know about that. They're in public rooms daily, frustrated because they can't get their squad mates to work with them, and da 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 da. You know, and that competitive experience would be right up their alley. They'd be able to play the game less and get more enjoyment out of it. But they don't know that that exists. And so when we ran into the Chris and Nick and the D Crew guys, for example, we met this amazing community of people who were extremely media oriented and YouTube oriented, and that was extremely exciting for us. And at the time, you know, and I think to a certain extent still, we were being very generous and philanthropic in trying to support the Battlefield community and its growth in any way we could. And we were just thrilled to find these people, and we tried to basically, you know, to help them be successful in any way we could, and to promote what they were doing and stuff, and that was a very positive thing. And along the way, we were actually approached, but mostly because of our Black Ops involvement and our success on that side, by Machinima. And in a one-off conversation with Don't Blink, I believe it was, he said, no, you shouldn't talk to them. You know, you need to come talk to these guys over here at Pixel Enemy. So
all the way in the back of the hill.
We had a great conversation with Pixel Enemy, and we had a great vision that they described to us, some things they were thinking about doing, and it sounded fantastic. And we pursued that for some time, and they decided to put that on hold. And it was very unfortunate because we really badly wanted to work with them in the worst way, because we really appreciate all the things that they're doing for the community. And they're a symbol, really, of Battlefield media.
Game, guys.
So we were disappointed, you know, unfortunately that didn't come to fruition. But we were then, you know, kind of returned to the Machinima conversation, and they said, yeah, let's do something. And you know, we're kind of trying to build up that community and that channel in a way that's going to attract some big audience side from the competitive aspect of Call of Duty.
Yeah.
And also tell a new story in a new way. It's a thematically interesting way and a compelling way about competitive Battlefield, a story that's never been told before. And the thing is that we feel that we are kind of the only bridge between those two worlds. The Battlefield folks don't really like the Call of Duty folks really that much. They don't like that game. They don't like that community operates a completely different way. It's far more commercialized and all this type of things, you know. And the Call of Duty community doesn't even know the Battlefield community exists, even though it's like twice the size of the Call of Duty community. It's pretty funny, actually. So, I mean, you think about that, like a lot more people play Call of Duty, right? But a lot more people that play Battlefield are cult-like about it. Does that make sense? They're like, they have a community because they love this game. This is their life, you know. That's how I am. I mean, I can't even imagine the things I've given up for Battlefield, and not even thought about it. So, I mean, like from that perspective, you know, I think we want to be able to be that bridge, I guess, in a way, to be able to say,
can you watch it?
When Battlefield 3, you know, breaks out, all these players are going to come from where? Call of Duty, right? As much as that may disappoint some of the Battlefield folks.
Oh,
hey, Vic,
just a second there, Vic. Vic, can you mute your mic?
Yep. Sorry, guys.
No sweat.
So I think that we've already started to show our pro players on the Black Ops side, you know, some of the media that's been produced by the community and YouTube community around Battlefield, and they're just absolutely blown away. And a lot of them have gone out and bought the game, and they've started to play the game casually. So I think that I think that as much as our adventure into MLG Black Ops darkness from the Battlefield community's perspective, and as much as, you know, Daniel and DICE probably could care less about the fact that we're winning Dallas and stuff like that, I hope that Battlefield 3 is going to be the big title for DICE. And if it is, and it is going to land the way that we think it's going to land, we're going to be in a position to tell that story in a way that is hugely beneficial for this community and hugely beneficial for the developer, and in a way that really nobody else can. And that's our goal right now. That's our mission right now from a media perspective, and that's what we're trying to do. And we have a very thin Black Ops community. Really, our community is a Battlefield community, 300 strong. That's what we love. That's what we do. So, yeah.
But at the end of the day, too, I mean, you are financially supporting all these teams on both sides, and you know that
costs money.
That costs money, and at some point, I think that you have to be in a position for it at least to be self-funding, right? Because I think that it's been an investment for you that's there's no ROI at this point, right? So
absolutely. People think that we're making. People ask me all the time, so are you guys making money off your website? Like, really? No, we're not making money off our website.
Yeah.
We're easily $30,000-$40,000 deep in this. I mean, we're doing this because we love it. We're doing this because we love this game.
Yeah.
And we love this community, and we want to see it grow, and we want to see the competition side of it grow. And we feel that is something that a lot more people in the community out there that may not know a lot about it would actually be engaged in if they did know more about it.
Yep.
And we seriously, I want to just set the record straight here, that, I realize looking back on the situation and the interactions, that maybe there's things that we could have done differently or better, but we certainly never meant to offend or upset anyone in any way. And we have nothing but the utmost respect and admiration for the entire DCRU guys, especially Blink and Pixel Enemy and all the work that they do. And we are big believers in sticking together and not being torn apart, by kind of growing the community and not being more open to the external gaming world, I guess. And as Zinto indicated in the podcast, we need to have active communication between the various communities in the Battlefield world. Mm-hmm. And we also realize that, commercialization and noobitization at some level is kind of needed, even though it's unwanted, in order for the game to be more successful. Yes. And that stretching the competition spirit and socializing the tactics of clean play, that we believe we can help grow the community and the Battlefield player in a positive and encouraging way, and that's what we're here to do.
Yep. No, that makes sense, and not no need to kind of drag it all up, but there was a bit of talk around business and commercialism and whatnot around the Battlefield community when you refer to the DCRU guys and Blink and Pixel Enemy and all that, and the Battlefield community really is I've found a friendship-based community. There's a ton of respect. I mean, obviously people have their disputes, but by and large, it's there is a lot of camaraderie, and people are hesitant to see the business commercialism side of things come into it. And we try and steer away from that. And when you look at the YouTube community overall, Battlefield is more than an order of magnitude smaller than Call of Duty. It's not a huge moneymaker. Nobody's rolling in YouTube money. Right. But I think for you guys to have a media outlet that may at some point be able to provide some sort one of your revenue streams into supporting the competitive side of things, that's a good day. So
I think it's important. I mean, we're the only organization that I'm aware of in the world that is financially supporting competitive Battlefield. And whether or not that's, I understand the community may not necessarily be as enthralled with the fact that it's competitive Battlefield because they may not be so competitive, right? But I mean, that costs a lot of money, and it is good for them even if they're not participating in competition. And I think, like you said, at some point we have to kind of figure out how we're gonna do that. I don't think we're anywhere close to that, Colin. I don't think we're anywhere even close to thinking about being in the black. I don't think that's even on the horizon. I think that we're just we're trying to carry out our mission, and we're trying to maybe reduce our exposure financially, if anything. That's the most we can hope for right now. Yeah.
And I mean, that's there's been a lot of talk recently and a lot of things going on YouTube with partnerships and that sort of thing. And, it's the same for the guys that are media focused around Battlefield like myself. We're still nowhere near in the black when it comes to producing the content.
That's right.
Never going to cover, well, someday maybe cover the cost of, PVR, the software, and the MacBook to make the videos in my own personal case, but sure. I'm nowhere near that today, right? And so I think that where I'm coming from and where you're coming from, different approaches, but all based on the fact that we just love doing what we do and we love the game. So,
and I think it's important too. I mean, one of the main differences I've noticed between the Call of Duty community and the Battlefield community is everybody in the Battlefield community socially is extremely more professional, right? Everybody's very nice. Everybody's very friendly, right? And everybody in the Black Ops community is extremely gnarly. They can get nasty with each other, but you know what? But it's all in good fun. I mean, they always make up and they're cool. In the Battlefield community, though, people get into a little quarrel. They don't make up so easily. It's shut the doors, right? And especially when business and money become involved in the Battlefield community, feelings get hurt and people get turned off big time. In the Call of Duty community, for some reason, that commercialization seems to bring people together. and
Yeah.
make them more professional. And I don't know why that's different. I haven't figured it out yet.
Well,
I think a lot of people who are in Battlefield, they don't want to see it become commercialized because it's their enjoyment outlet, but they don't necessarily, bear the burden of these other things that are happening either. Does that make sense? It's kind of like it's difficult for them to really see that because they're just like, well, I'm having fun, right? I'm playing the game. I love the game. It's great, and I play it with people that I enjoy, and that's all that matters.
Mm-hmm.
Don't take that from me. And I completely understand where they're coming from.
Well, so if you look at the guys that I'd be associated closely with, we've all now had the opportunity to have YouTube partnerships. We all work with different organizations, and at the end of the day, we always put our friendships and the gaming first, because when you look at the business and commercialism side of it, there's
no money.
There's no money on the table,
no
right?
Money.
There's no money on the table. So, there is a bit of perception there, I think, that might be a bit inflated as far as what's available financially to the Battlefield guys, because it's not there. And we're just going to continue to do it because we love doing it. We just launched another PC server, DCRU server, just for folks to get together and play with us, and we can play together. And that's just out of the camaraderie and the desire to, keep the community strong and friendly and that sort of thing. And that's really what we're all about.
Stay tuned to Pixel Enemy for part 3 of this week's Don't Revive Me Bro Battlefield podcast.